Hey y'all, check this out. I took this video in my garden the other day.
All right.
I want y'all to watch and tell me what you notice and wonder. Yeah, so I was wondering something similar to Tyler, like what organisms were visiting the flowers, like how many different kinds of things visit these flowers, and so I did some investigation, and here's what I found out. So there were honeybees. Honeybees are really obvious to see; they stand out. But then there were these bigger bees that look like carpenter bees or bumblebees. And some of those bumblebees had white on their faces, like white noses. Sometimes you could see that really clearly. And some of the big bumblebees didn't have any white on their faces and had little black spots on their back, surrounded by golden fuzz. There were some bumblebee-looking things that were actually just smaller, like mini bumblebees. There were tiny bees. Then there were moths. Lots of different kinds of moths all over, including this really wild-looking moth. So all in all, I found 9 different species of pollinators visiting this flower. So because I slowed down and investigated this question, all of a sudden this bush that my brain was just like, wow, lots of bugs on it, all of a sudden I was able to see all the differences, and it became a lot more interesting to me when I tried to figure out how many different things were there, when I tried to pay attention and measure that biodiversity, that living diversity of things. So I had a lot of fun finding out all the insects that were visiting that flower, those kinds of flowers. And I think we should go out to Tremont's second campus and do the same thing. Find something out there and then make a field guide to what we find. Y'all with me?
Yeah, let's do it. Parkour!
Did you say parkour?
No.
So we're out here in this beautiful field. There's forests all around us, mountains over here in the distance. There's birds calling. There's crickets and bugs everywhere. But we're going to be making a guide, not of those things, but of some things we can find out here everywhere, but also in your homes, right outside your homes, in your local parks. And then of spider webs. Not spiders, but the spider webs that the spiders make.
While we're looking at spider webs, we want to make sure that we're being safe, both for us and the spider.
I've gotten pretty up close with this spider web. You don't have to be this close if you don't want to. If you want to stand back, you could be far, far away and looking at it with binoculars if you want. That's a-okay. Because spiders are kind of scary to some people. We also, though, want to make sure that we're keeping our spider friends safe. I'm not too worried about my own safety looking at the spiders. And you don't need to be too worried either, because we're so much bigger than these spiders. They're real scared of us.
Hey, you'll never guess what I found. Spider webs. Wait, you too? Wait, what's happening?
Tyler, what you got over there?
Got this really amazing spider web in this tree. It's kind of spread out in kind of like this general just circle shape. What are you looking at?
Mine's not a circle. Mine's also kind of spread out though, but it looks kind of like somebody dropped a hanky or something, and it just kind of spread over some of the grasses and things. It's kind of like a funnel or a tube going down into some leaves. I wonder what that's for.
Yeah, mine's pretty wet too. It's really cool. It kind of reminds me of like a necklace that has like a bunch of beads, because like the little water droplets.
Field guide is generally a book that describes all the kinds of an organism, generally in one area. So this is mammals of the Smokies. This is birds of the Smokies. There's also tons of field guides like wildflowers of the Ohio Valley, or track and sign of North American mammals. So you see that there's like a geographic region and then a specific thing that they're focusing on, mammals or birds. So let's take a look at some pages of a field guide. I noticed that there's pictures, and some of those are close-up pictures of interesting details. There's also numbers, so it says the like the overall body length of this animal, how much it weighs, what altitude they're found in. Also the name, and then written descriptions too, or other observations that weren't captured in the pictures. You are going to be making a field guide entry about a kind of spider web that you find. So you're going to go outside and look for spider webs, or inside because they are in our house, especially if you have my cleaning habits. And what I'd like you to do, what we're going to be doing is describing a kind of spider web that you find. So pick one that you think is the most curious, the most interesting, the one that you feel a strong fascination with. Describe it using pictures, using numbers, and using words. And pictures do not have to be pictures with cameras. I find it very difficult to take good pictures of spider webs. Believe me, I've spent all week trying to do that. And it can be tough. And so a journal drawing is just as good at capturing that visual information. You can draw, you can sketch a shape of it, or sketch some details about it. Numbers too. What's the size of the web? You could find a range of those numbers. So what's the biggest spider web you can find? What's the smallest? And what's that range? Even what's like the average size that you find? And then send your journal entries to us. So you could make this as like a computer document with pictures and text and numbers, but you can also do a journal page just like these. All of them work. And then what we'll do is we want you to send them in to our email address at weeklywonder@gsmit, and we will make a community field guide to spider webs. And on our Friday live stream, we'll get a chance to share some of the really incredible spider webs that you all found and your entries to the field guides. And we'll also make our field guide available as a downloadable PDF for subscribers. So you will, this week, be a co-author on a field guide to spider webs.
Are you okay? You'll never guess what I found!